I'm Trish. I'm one of the community coordinators here at Creative Assembly, and I'm joined here today by Steve Virgo, who's one of our designers here at the Total War team. And let's get started. What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about the Hannibal at the Gates add-on pack. This is for Rome 2, and this takes us through the Second Punic War, which sounds quite dry, but this is a pivotal period in Roman history. There was a First Punic War, there was a Third Punic War, but this is the war where Rome's number one enemy, Hannibal Barca, the great Carthaginian general, he marches a big army filled with elephants over the Alps into Rome, into Italy itself, right up to the walls of Rome, and terrorizes the countryside and defeats any army that Rome could send against him. So this is
sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, this is good.
Cool. Well, do you want to tell me a little bit of the background about what happened?
Yeah. So
here?
Well, here we see Rome. It's in 218 BC. And so up until this point, Rome has fought a series of wars against all of its neighbours and generally come out on top. We've got the Etruscans to the north. They were defeated by Rome. The Samnites to the south. Then, if you know a bit about the history, you've got Pyrrhus, who came in from across the Adriatic. He fought against Rome, and Rome defeated him. And then Rome got sucked into a war down here on Sicily against another Mediterranean power, which was the Carthaginians, and fought a long and protracted war across Sicily that took in naval combat, took in land-based warfare, and were eventually emerged victorious across Sicily. But the Carthaginian commander who led the forces on Sicily was a man named Hamilcar Barca, and he made a big name for himself. And following the events of the first Punic War, he retreated home to lick his wounds, but didn't stay for very long. This is Carthage itself. He went off over to here to Iberia, and very quickly sort of built up a whole load of territory here, which you can see on the coast of Spain here. And he was joined not by his army, and also by his sons, the whole Barca family. The city Barcelona is named after them. And you've got Hasdrubal, Mago, whose name is indirectly linked to mayonnaise these days, believe it or not, and also his eldest son Hannibal. Hannibal, who one of history's greatest commanders, and the young Hannibal allegedly once sweared an oath of fealty that he would arrest the destiny of Rome. So out here in Iberia, so the Barca clan are doing very well, but unfortunately Hamilcar was killed in an ambush, and his eldest son Hannibal took over command of that army, and fortuitously for the Carthaginians, he turned out to be extremely able and very much. Sorry?
Quite scary.
Very terrifying man if you're on the wrong side of him.
Yeah.
And so he continued the work of his father and secured his holdings in Spain. And but his ultimate goal was Rome. And to that end, he took this city up here, which we can see, Saguntum, and took that from the citizens that held it. And this was an ally of Rome, and that was the last straw. Rome had to declare war once again. So this is the start position for our campaign. Is Hannibal has just taken Saguntum. There is war now between Rome and Carthage, and it's up to the player to see if they can reproduce the steps of Hannibal, march over the Alps, and take the fight to the walls of Rome. So
we'll just have to see, won't we? Here we are playing as Carthage. Do you want to walk me through a bit of the campaign?
Yeah, so we have a new campaign map. It's similar in scope to Caesar and Gaul. We have, let me show you it here. We have 60 to 70 regions. We can see we've got Spain, Italy, southern Gaul and northern Africa to play with. Time scales are similar, 12 turns per year. We have 5 playable factions. We've got the 2 principal factions. We've got Carthage, we see here in white. Rome we see up here in red. We also have the Lusitani here you see in yellow, the Aravaki, which is, you can see them here in red, and finally Syracuse, who have a toehold in Sicily in blue. We also have new technologies for Rome and Carthage, and a couple of new cultures for the Iberians and also the Italians that Rome is allied with. So.
Can we take a look at the tech tree?
Yes, let's
just show it off a little bit.
So as Carthage, you have this new diplomacy tech tree. Rome and Carthage both have the same sort of thing. And the idea being is that, so Rome and Carthage, they are kind of superpowers on this map. And one of the strategies that they can use to kind of unseat the other is to build up their sort of alliances with the various peoples that sort of live on this map, and so you can use these, or you can research these technologies, and they are effectively kind of missions which go out to the Italians and the Africans and the Iberians and the Gauls and so on and so forth, so that they will favour your cause over that of your ally, and
keeping your friends close and enemies closer.
That's right, yeah. So both of them start with quite a lot of sort of vassals and client states and allies as well.
So let's go through the army reserve system.
Okay, yeah. So if you play as Carthage and Rome, your principal adversary will have some additional armies granted to them. So you can see a couple here, one in Rome, one in Corfinium.
A bit in the north as well.
Yeah, some of those, yes. And they will stay and defend the home territory until you get kind of to their doorstep, so to speak, at which point they'll come out to play. So kind of a nice little trick which we put into this campaign to spice up the late game.
Okay, so it's kind of just because it might, right now it seems as though playing as Rome and Carthage seems like the easy option in a way, because there's such superpowers, and I guess by doing the army reserve system it makes it seem like it's quite difficult. And
it should give you an uphill struggle to complete this campaign fully.
Good.
So.
You have a bunch of people camping there.
Exactly.
Cool, awesome. Here we are in the game playing as Syracuse, and maybe we can go through each of the minor factions and sort of give players some tips as to how to play these sort of minor factions out, because it does seem like it is quite of a challenge and maybe a bit daunting, but an exciting challenge, I think, because I quite like playing as Syracuse. But maybe we can go through.
Yeah, so Syracuse started in a very interesting position. You start off allied to Rome, but Rome hold directly or indirectly all of the territory to the north of you on the Italian mainland, and also the rest of Sicily. But across the Mediterranean, you'll find that your expansion options here are kind of hampered by Carthage and its client states. So you're very much stuck in the middle, and it's up to the player to decide, do they want to persist as an ally of Rome, or do they want to maybe try and break away from Rome and move into the Carthaginian camp, or maybe go out and
do their own thing.
Yes, exactly.
Seems like a very you would kind of focus a lot more on the diplomacy and.
Yes, its diplomacy as a whole is quite important to this campaign. So, well, not if you're Lusitania. So we're going to have a little look at these guys.
They're a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, exactly. So the Lusitania are very much more a sort of martial culture. They're the sort of forebears of the modern Portuguese. Aleppo is modern Lisbon.
Yeah.
And so. The Lusitani, they started on the end of the world. They're kind of very much the sort of lone warrior mantra.
No one's giving them any mind.
No, they don't have too many trade agreements. They don't have too much to do with diplomacy.
Not yet.
No, exactly. But the Arawaki, who start right in the heartlands of Iberia, they're kind of the exact reverse of that. They kind of have very good bonuses to diplomacy with all the factions that are around them. And in fact, what the players, the Arawaki, might choose to make a confederation against the Carthaginians, who are coming in from the southeast here.
And I guess both Carthage and Rome kind of want to make friends with Arawaki as well.
Yes, it's very much well, that's the Arawaki and also all of the minor factions that live around here. You'll find that Rome and Carthage, play a good tug of war between the pair of them. So.
Can use that to your advantage.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Good. And this also seems like it would be a good option to play as a co-op multiplayer as well, because not only I guess the campaign's sort of a bit tighter, it's a bit sort of fast-paced, but you can also play sort of like the underdog versus the superpower. So if someone really wanted a challenge and they really want to play against their friend who's playing as Rome, you would pick as Arawaki and then kind of play from there in a way.
Or Syracuse if you're a real glutton for
punishment,
perhaps. It can be done, and that option's available to you. But yes, you can play as Rome and Carthage on the multiplayer campaign map, or any number of those other factions. So.
Sounds great. So along with this campaign pack, we're also introducing 2 historical battles. If you're a history buff, you probably already know what they are, but it's the Battle of Cannae and also the Battle of Zama. So maybe we can do a bit of an overview about what they are?
Sure, yeah. The Battle of Cannae was it's kind of one of the greatest tactical masterpieces in history, where Hannibal, by this point, he'd already defeated a couple of big Roman armies on the field, and the Romans were not good losers, and so they sent out, they mustered all of the armies, or all of the forces they could get, send them at Hannibal under 2 commanders, and Hannibal did this big enveloping maneuver around the whole army and just crushed it into the dust.
Must have been a crushing blow to Rome. So the Battle of Zama was sort of the flip side of the coin for Hannibal, and obviously that was a very big loss for Hannibal.
Yes, so this is about a dozen years or so later. This is now in Africa itself, much later stage of the war, and the kind of Roman equivalent of Hannibal, which is a General Scipio. He has risen and he's got an army of his own, and he meets Hannibal on the field of Zama and ends up inflicting a defeat upon him, which ends the war.
I like that you said he was risen, as if he was just risen from the dead.
Yes.
He was kind of undead, killing
yes,
everyone.
he
Yeah, but the good thing about the Romans, I guess, they're not good at losing. They're, a bit of a poor sport, but they're good from learning from their mistakes.
Yes, they take a lot of lessons from their
defeat. So there you have it. That's our Let's Play coming to an end. But if you want to know a little bit more about the Second Punic War, we did do something with the Extra Credit guys a few months ago, and it was excellent. And if you wanted to check it out, I'll post it on the link below. And it's the second episode of the 3 episodes explaining a little bit more about all 3 of the Punic Wars. Very, very well done. And on that note, did you have any recommendations on maybe some books or some podcasts that people would want to listen to or read?
I really enjoyed the History of Rome podcast by Mike Duncan, and that takes you all the way through from the sort of founding of the Roman Republic all the way through to the fall of the Western Roman Empire. So give that a listen.
Yeah. Any books at all?
There's Adrian Goldsworthy's wrote a book about the fall of Carthage. So give that a
I had someone recommend that to me from Reddit the other day, so thank you very much. And I bought it, and it was very, very well done. Well, that's us here done for today. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this Let's Play, and we'll see you next time. Bye!